rolls in a cold breeze. Steel boots on the sand, no ease. Propellers hum the Soviet quest, but the island ain't weak, not less. Hot tanks roaring loud and clear. Zombie hula girls, no fear. Tiki terrors rise, eyes ablaze. Soviets drown in the island haze. Island don't surf, island don't win. Tiki terrors won't let them in. Hot tanks make the ground shake. Zombie hula girls, hearts won't break. Under moonlight chants they clash. Steel meets flame, bones will thrash. Cold War's heat, the island's grip. Tiki rage will never slip. Drums beat, wild waves take hold. Soviet shiver, hearts turn cold. In the depths of night they fail. Tiki terror's ancient tale. Island don't surf, island don't win. Tiki terrors won't let them in. Hot tanks make the ground shake. Zombie hula girls, hearts won't break. Hearts won't break.
Howdy, it's your old pal, Tiki the Hut. Thanks for joining me again on another Too Late Tonight with Tiki. And as you can see, it's another palate cleanse night, as it were. I've been working on my American MP Army for my Fall of Berlin game, but I'm also joining a local crusade in my area, and I thought they were going to start at like 500 points, but they want to start at 1,000. So I am in a hurry to get some orcs built and painted. As you guys can see here, this is Blood Drive. This is one of my orc trucks. It is a converted Goliath. You got your garrote riggers on the side. You got your big shooter. It's got a boarding ladder from the truck. It's got some spiky bits on the back. Got a nice little ram on the front. Hey, what's going on, crew? Glad to see the usual crew in the chat. How you guys doing? So I am going to be using lots of orc flesh, lots of this magma droth flame. I think that's like an AOS reference. So what I'm trying to do is I'm going to try and I already have all the skin on these orcs painted. So I'm going through and doing their pants. Then I'm going to jump over to the other squad of boys and do their flesh. It's a little bit of batch painting. I know, not the most interesting content. I do apologize for that, but you know, I gotta get this done. It's one of these like I gotta sit here and paint kind of things. So with that being said, though, I am full of information about Clash of the Caribbean. So if you guys want to chat about that or anything else, you know, as you guys know, just run the chat. Let me know what you want to talk about. Well, yeah, so I know Crusade started at 10,000, but they had talked. So that was what's cool about this Crusade, is they had talked about starting this Crusade as like more of an escalation. So you have your 1,000 points, right? The 1,000 points that you're going to pull from, you know? But the engagements, like the matches, we're going to start at 500 points. And there's even going to be like possibly some like kill team stuff, so. Nice. RK, I think you're really gonna enjoy it. Like I said, I've been on that ship. If anything, they actually just did renovations, so that's pretty cool on the ship. But I had a good time on it. We're likely gonna do like a meet and greet and take a look at each other's armies like on the first day. So you're gonna board around the afternoon. You'll depart Florida at like around 3 or 4 o'clock. You got, I said, the biggest thing is I want you guys to enjoy the cruise, but also be able to do the event, you know? So we'll probably just do like a meet and greet and show each other's armies and stuff like that on the first day. On the second day, you're gonna wake up in the Bahamas. People who have shore excursions, hey, by all means, feel free to go ashore and do your shore excursion, or you don't have to buy those. You can just step off the ship and go on shore if you want. While we're in port in the Bahamas, I'll actually be using the living room of my suite to do demo games of Conflict 47. And then once we all get back on the ship, we depart likely around 4 o'clock. That's when we're going to meet up and do the bolt action tournament. So should be a lot of fun. It's only going to be 500 points, 6 players at the most. So you're likely to get in about 2 games, maybe 3. And then once those games finish, then we're likely going to pass out awards for, you know, the winning faction. Because we're going to break you into 3 factions: Allies, Axis, and Soviets. It doesn't matter what army you play as, you know, we're just going to kind of break you up into teams. Anyway, so the winning faction will get like some kind of like something cool to kind of wear, you know, to prove that they won. And we'll pass out the prize support for best hobby and most sportsman. I don't have any experience with Grim Tim. I use a lot of I think it's over there, sorry. I use a lot of gunpla markers personally. Oh yeah, I was like perfect. I was like, oh, that's Sean. Luckily Sean's here. Yes, okay, so that is correct, Evolution. However, because it's not an official Conflict 47 event because Conflict 47 is not popular enough, even though I will be demoing it, but it's kind of a Conflict 47 style event. So with that, with the bolt action games, it'll be fictitious battles. It's set in the Caribbean. You know, that's why it's called Clash of the Caribbean, because we'll be in the Caribbean. And with that being said, it's kind of alternate history. So in this alternate history, it's kind of like leading up to Conflict 47. So that's why I'm kind of breaking one into the factions. It's like a soft Conflict 47 event, but still like mostly bolt action. Yeah. So that book, I haven't fully read it yet. I was at work for a long time today, so I haven't got a chance to actually look at it. I saw it came out. I think it came out for like 2 days. I took a look at the MP stuff because that interests me, obviously, because I was running an MP platoon. But I haven't fully like dug into it and saw all the things you can do. I really need to look at it because I think I have to like redo my whole airborne army. So I'm not sure yet. I may, like everybody else, I think I'm just gonna wait until I can. It's a very lame take, the old beer take. I'm gonna wait till I can put my, you know, my paws on the book. I'm gonna wait till I can actually, you know, like touch the book and read it, and then I think I'll make my decisions. But with that being said, Bad Rabbit, I'll make a decision when I put out the pack. But I know we were talking about this. I'm thinking about the actual bolt action event for Clash of the Caribbean. I think about just allowing any 3rd edition Warlord Games book. You know, so you can do it with the core book or you can do it with the Armies of. I think it's such a social event, it doesn't matter. I really just want people to play what they want to play. I was thinking like just running with the core book would make it easier, but I worry that it would put too much restriction. Yeah, he's huge. I know, because I got like a knockoff Captain America to try and like sub with him, but the size is completely off. Yeah, Slammer Samuels is huge. Sorry, it's kind of, the alliteration can be tough to say. That's kind of cool, arcade, where they kind of like do it to where you could take the medium AT gun, but it's almost like it's been field stripped for airborne use, you know. So hopefully, did they at least take the gun shield off? Because that'd kind of be worth the give and take. You know, it weighs less, you know, so you can tow it with a Jeep, but the downside is it doesn't have a gun shield, you know. Yeah, so far, like I said, I'm still working on my pack. If you guys are familiar with Wood Imp, I'm actually working with Wood Imp to try and make like a good pack for this event. A pack is just, I guess, a slang term for a set of rules and guiding principles unique to an event. Or it's not a tournament, it's an event. Oh, thanks. Thanks, Paint Games. So I'm coming up with my pack. So far, some of the stuff that's put in, like there will be some small house rules, but nothing too crazy. Just stuff that me, RK, and Irish and Trooper have tested. But as far as like army restrictions, there's going to be no dice limit. I know that could be bad, but no dice limit. Point limit is 500 points. That's just to keep the game small, because the tables will be small, you know. And more importantly, the library isn't that big on the ship. And I want you guys to be able to easily transport this army. If you're flying down, I want it to be easy for you to fly. If you're getting on and off the ship, even though you don't have to actually go up a gangway, it's like a very nice, easy, like passenger gangway. It's not like a legit gangway, so it's easier to get up, but it's still, I don't want you to be carrying like this huge ass army box, you know. So we're keeping it at 500 points, and that's whatever platoons you can fit in at 500 points. You do you. But the biggest thing is the armor restriction. You cannot bring anything that has heavier armor than 7. So that's going to be some countries' light tanks, plenty of half tracks and stuff like that. So it's to keep it almost more like a infantry reconnaissance style fight, you know? And the missions will reflect that. Hey, what's going on, Matthew? Yeah, we're still working on some orcs. So I have one finished truck painted right here. It's a orky conversion of a Goliath. Actually came out pretty well. I'm pretty happy with it. So I paint my orcs with like convict clothes, so sometimes they'll have white shirts, sometimes it's just like the full convict jumpsuit with like the arms ripped off. What do you mean, Bad Rabbit? So airstrikes and artillery strikes, those really aren't going to scatter that much. They already have pretty refined rules in place. So you'll have to let me know what you mean by that. So yeah, smoke is so there will be a special rule for smoke. Smoke, if you hit, it hits. If you roll a 1, it's a dud, and anything in between scatters 2d6. So it's super easy. Oh, thanks, Matt. Hey, man, look at you getting your orc on. Look at you working out. Good on you, buddy. So some characters have already been claimed. Like so far we have this is Morty and Glory's orc. Timmy Two Skulls. You can tell he actually has like the little Mordian hat right there. He's got 2 skulls. He's got a nice custom made slugga too. It's actually kind of cool. This is Rusty. This is Russell W's model. So he's a rocket launcher. So if you guys want an orc, and this isn't me filming for content. Don't take it the wrong way. It's just easier for my orc-like brain to keep track. Just drop a comment on this video. Be like, hey, I want to be a knob, or I want to be a rocket launcher, or I just want to be a slugga boy. You know, Orc is like, I want an orc. All right, well, let me know what orc you want. The only other orcs that I think are taken so far is so I have this truck. I have another truck that I'm working on. So I have an actual truck that I have to finish painting. The third truck that I have on deck, I actually have a beat up Rhino coming in, a used Rhino coming in from eBay that I'll be converting to an orc truck. So the driver and gunner on that are already reserved, but other than that, it's up to grabs. I do have a mech. He's actually the warlord for the 500 point army, but yeah. So there's gonna be 2 mechs. I'm trying to think what's available at the 1,000 point level. Yeah, 2 mechs, 3 different boy squads. All right, Matthew. I'll try and you may have to leave a comment to remind me, but yeah, we'll make you a knob. Nice. No, so with that bad rabbit, I don't want to mess with the. I had no real problem with people choosing where my smoke went. Like that was weird, but I was slightly okay with it. What I wasn't okay with is how smoke just doesn't go off. I thought that was really weird and odd, you know. So as far as like your opponent picking where that airstrike comes in at, I mean, it's not that big of a deal, because then I'd have to go. But if I change that, I have to go in and change the foo bar and friendly fire rules. It's one of those things where it's kind of like dabbling with a recipe. You're like, oh, let me add a little bit of pepper, and then you add cayenne, then you add salt, then you add more, then you add more. So once you open it up, it's easy to keep adding stuff. So I'm trying to be as least invasive as I can, if that makes sense. It's a good idea, I see what you're saying. But we've play tested the smoke rule, and a great example, RK kind of helped us. So originally I said 1d6, and he's like, I think it should be 2d6. I'm like, yeah, that's an extremely solid point. And we tried it with 2d6 and it was beautiful. So, you know, that way it's not just me and my favoritism. I'm like, well, I use smoke, so I think it should be this. That's kind of shitty. So luckily some of these other things we've actually had kind of play tests, and they work pretty well. One of the other ones that we play tested, and RK can attest to it, and Irish, if he joins in the chat, is our cover system, where for the most part, you know, some maps will have specific terrain, but for the most part, buildings, yeah, now that rookie pilots don't shoot you, you're generally pretty fine, yeah. RK is right. In version 2, no one took air support because you generally got Bonnie and Clyded by your own P-51. Anyways, as far as the terrain, so most terrain is going to be light cover. The only heavy cover is going to be inside of buildings or behind destroyed vehicles. And that makes, by the way, the reason why I like that is particularly for the Clash of the Caribbean event, it makes taking those 7-up vehicles a lot more useful because those are armored vehicles. So, you know, if you bring a half track and it gets destroyed, I mean, you still have a burning half track that you can kind of use as cover. So it has multiple uses, if that makes sense, kind of. And also, just because it's on the field, you guys can take cover behind the half track, and it gives you heavy cover. It makes you use your vehicles. It makes vehicles a little bit more useful, I think, instead of just like drive up and DAC or something, you know. So heavy cover will only be in buildings and behind armored vehicles, and then unless there's some obvious terrain piece that can be on the table, like there's a huge like rock formation or something, yeah, it's fine. Yeah, one of the missions will have the first turn, and I think only the first turn is night fighting. Yeah, one of the missions and only one of the missions, RK. Only the first turn will have night fighting, and then the second day it'll immediately be dawn. Or second turn, I should say, not second day. Yeah, we'll be going pretty late tonight. Like I said, I'll probably be going till 6 a.m. Eastern. So if you guys are still on, that's awesome. If not, hey, feel free to hop in, hop out, chat, watch, enjoy yourself. You do you. I just got a lot of hate to do. Yeah, you're right. It was frustrating only because we were trying to play bolt action during, like, regular bolt action or night fighting rules, and nothing was helping, you know. So it's one of those things where when you hit night fighting, just like in you know, historically in World War II, when you hit night fighting, you had to change your tactics. It was a whole different way of engaging in warfare, because back then there weren't a lot of night observation devices. So other than flares, there wasn't really a good way to kind of counteract that, so you had to like really get sneaky with it. Yeah, I got in trouble one time, Matthew. So in my first couple of bases, there was a lot more emphasis on airbase security, so we did a lot of training. I was always on night shifts. So we did a lot of training with NODs, night observation devices, night vision goggles. You know, depending on the type of device, the term can be interchangeable, like via PVS-7 Deltas or PVS-14s, but it's a whole weird thing, right? That's why NODs is kind of an easier term to use, right? Night observation devices. Because sometimes they're monocools, and it's a whole thing, right? Anyways, so we're training with these NODs, and one of the most important things you can learn is how to do blackout driving, and that even goes all the way back. You can look at World War II vehicles; they have like blackout lights where it only emits like a little bit of light, and you have to train how to drive with that, right? So we're out there. We had specialized courses, so we wouldn't hit anything, but it's very hazardous, very dangerous to yourself and government property to train on night blackout driving, because you're driving with night observation devices, so you lose depth perception. And it's dark and you can't see shit, so it's very difficult, right? So I remember coming back stateside, and we were looking for some training to do out on the flight line at night. I was like, oh, I got a great one. I was like, let's do some, you know, some night driving. Like, yeah, we do night driving all the time. I was like, no, hold on. I was like, put on blackout lights. Like, yeah, these don't have blackout lights. I was like, all right, well, hold my beer. Let me get some duct tape. So I put like some 100-mile-per-hour tape over the lights, and I make cat eyes, you know, for blackout driving, and I pop on their NODs. I'm like, all right, we're gonna do some blackout driving. Man, I got chewed out, I think, for like 3 hours after work for that one. When they found out what I was doing, oh my god in heaven, I was like, well, it's a good thing to train on. They're like, oh man, they let me have it. All because the troop I taught it to was so excited and thought it was so cool that he told people at turn-in. So he was sitting there bullshitting with the guy next to him in line, and the armorer overheard, and the armorer told his supervisor, you know, who's in supply. Supply heard us messing around with the vehicles and up-channeled it. So by the time I turned in, you know, I already had somebody waiting for me, and I'm like, ooh, this is not going to be enjoyable. And yeah, I get that right. Immediately painting the orc butt. And with the airstrikes for bolt action, it's not even the damage they deal. I think the true value of the airstrikes is the pins it generates. That's the effective thing, because you could pin down a lot of people and then move your guys up the board, and their firing is a hell of a lot less effective. You also got to worry about your opponent having lots of flak too, so. No, I'm not, Sean. I'm just doing it over the tan. I'm doing it over the Zendari dust. Sean's like, what, why? He's like, I taught you nothing, you miserable Padawan. No, I'm doing all the orc stuff over Zendari. So same thing, like when I prime the whole truck, I go back and I paint the orcs and Grats Zendari dust, and then I do the whole painting on there. Yeah, I think I need to have like 1,000 points ready by yeah, I don't think I'm gonna make it by like the 19th. Yeah, there's no way. I'm excited for the Crusade. I truly am. One guy recently swapped from Necrons to Chaos Knights at the last minute, which seems kind of weird. I don't play Warhammer 40k, but I'm like, that doesn't seem like a very Crusade-y move. Like, that seems kind of odd, but okay. And I think they're also talking about doing a lot more on Tabletop Simulator, which I have nothing against Tabletop Simulator. But I don't know, that seems a little weird too. I was like, I'd like to use the models I have and paint it on a tabletop, you know? So, I don't know. I feel like I'm just being a little too old, I guess. Like, I'm a little too graybeard about this. Or graybush. I have them glued plastic to plastic. And I just put a little bit of cork on there. I was just trying to do it as quick and fast as possible. Sean, you can do yours however you think they should be done. Yours will definitely stand out artistically. I was just trying to replicate mine because the batch of 15 rescued orcs I had, they were already on bases, and so I had to like kind of put the cork around them. If that made sense. Yeah, that's exactly what I was worried about. I'm like, I want this as secure as possible, so I did it base to base, and then I literally just kind of, for me, I just kind of tore up cork and kind of glued it around, and then cut up the cork. And then when you paint it over, it still kind of looks like cork, but then I'll cover those with I'll put actual Badlands on the cork. That's another thing I think I gotta do with the truck. Is I'm gonna think about how to do it. But I think I'm gonna brush, dry brush a whole bunch of like tan and that Badlands stuff all over the wheels and all over the front of the car. You know, so it's been like driving. Doesn't look as pristine. But right now, I'm just trying to get these guys ready for the tabletop. I said, I'm not sure what's going to happen because I don't think I'm going to have a full 1,000 point. And I mean, they know ahead of time, so hopefully it's cool. But the same thing, like, oh, you can proxy this and that. And I got nothing against that, but I would rather, like, wait until my army's ready and then field my army instead of proxying. Hey, what's going on, Nathan? Just working on some orcs, buddy. So Nathan, I'm glad you joined the chat. I got a burning question for you. Which, in your opinion, and take into account the times they were made, right? So which, in your opinion, is the better Warhammer 40k game? Space Marine or Space Marine 2? Ooh, yeah, that's, I can see where you would say that, Bad Rabbit. That is certainly a valid point. I do like Dawn of War, I truly do, but I think I enjoyed Dawn of War 2's company hero style, like squad tactics, a little bit better. Dawn of War is awesome. I played the hell out of it growing up. Ooh, Space Hulk. Yeah, Space Hulk. Well, which Space Hulk? There's like 30 of them now. I exaggerate slightly. I think there's like 8. Uh-oh, Dave hasn't replied yet. He might be thinking. Just like another spicy take. I liked the first Battlefield Gothic game over the second one. I like the way that I like the leveling up abilities for the ships and stuff like that. I don't know. I really like the way that was done. I thought it was really cool, really well done. I actually enjoy Battlefield Gothic 1 over 2. I don't think it's that spicy to take, but. Sorry, I forgot I was muted. Nathan's like, shh, you're talking about one of my videos I'm probably making. Okay, those sound really familiar. I feel like I read those in an Imperial Armor book. Is that right? Is that what you're referencing? I feel like those are from Imperial Armor. Never should have given away my old copy. Yeah, they were really good. I remember reading about Detachment 99. I thought it was really cool. It was a mix of Elysians and Catechins. Oh god, they're so cool. That's an interesting hash roll, Bad Rabbit. I'm always happy to see people using house rules, you know? Yes, Bad Rabbit, I think I mentioned that earlier. I'm working on the pack right now with Wooden, and once I have it ready, I'll definitely release it. It'll be well before the event. That way you know what kind of army to bring and stuff like that nature. Yeah, it won't be dropped on you the day of. Like I said, I am starting my maritime class though here coming up soon, so I'm going to have a lot less available time on my hands. Like I said, I'll still stream usual times, but you'll see me and other people stream at Discord a lot less, only because I'll be extremely busy. But everything's in the works. I got most things planned out. Yeah, the pack's not going to have anything too crazy on it. It's going to have a couple homebrew rules that we've tested. It's going to have the 3 different types of missions. And I'll have the army building rules. And I think so far, I know definitely it's going to be 5. No, you're good. It's going to be 500 points and no armor bigger than 7. That's for sure. And I'm pretty sure it's going to be any book that any book that Warlord Games has out for version 3 bolt action. Well, you'll run into that, Bad Rabbit, when you get into Fubar and friendly fire, your opponent will also choose the target too. So it's just kind of a mechanic to I think it keeps people honest. Basically, you're not like, oh no, I Fubar'd here. Let me turn around and shoot my medic, you know, or like shoot this obvious squad over here or something like that, you know. Yeah, some guys I'm giving like the full orange jumpsuit to, some I'm just giving pants and a white shirt. So kind of just mixing it up as I go, trying to keep it as looking all orky and random. House rule orcs. Yeah, you will. Fubars can be really dangerous for if you like to camp and hide your artillery and stationary stuff on your board edge. Fubars will teach you not to do that real quick, because you know when they run off their board, they're destroyed. So. Same thing with vehicles. Don't keep vehicles too close to the board edge, too. But back to that thing about the Nathan, I think people's preference for Space Marine 1 or Space Marine 2, I think it honestly comes down to Primaris Marines. do you like Primaris Marines or not, you know? I think that's in the rules for the Soviets. I can look it up for you, HS, but I think they have one not one step further or something like that, where they execute someone in that squad, and I think they get to re-roll their morale check. Pretty sure. I have to double check the rules for you. And see, I think that same rule should go to the Imperial Japanese with their Kempo-Tai. And the reason why I say that is that'll prevent people from abusing the Kempo-Tai and the Bamboo Spearman and their green rule, you know? That way if they falter, he's still gonna start executing people. I mean, you can tell Warlord Games, and I understand why. They're in the habit of repeating rules for different nations for ease of learn. Yeah, the more I think about it, no matter how hard I paint, I don't think I'm going to have 1,000 points ready by the 19th. So tomorrow's probably going to be going back to paint some bolt action. I do like orcs, you know, but I've been building and painting them a lot off camera. I don't think I can have 1,000 points ready by the 19th. I'd rather enjoy the build and paint, you know, than like super rush. But the reason why I want to play Crusade so bad is not only do I like the narrative idea of it, but more importantly, the more I've been trying to learn, because I've been reading 4th edition rules and 10th edition rules at the same time, which is confusing. That would be cool, HS. But the only thing I don't like about 10th edition is I don't like the secondaries. I think I talked about this last stream, so I won't drone on like a broken record, but they're optional, thank God, but it's just a weird thing to wrap my head around. Well, it's not the only thing. I mean, I don't like the list building, but it's alright. I just want to have some orcs, you know, that are like edition proof. I can run these guys 4th edition, 9th edition, 8th edition, 7th edition, doesn't matter. Boys with trucks or boys with trucks, you know. And all my fancy wagons, like my custom Boomoblasta or my boom deck a snaz wagon. I could just run those as regular buggies, you know, from the older editions and war tracks. Not that big of a difference. That's good to know, RK. Yeah, because I wasn't sure if the Soviets rule affected foobarge or not. It's good to know. Yeah. So I was looking at that because, you know, everyone always has these like giant titans like that. I was like, what's a titan for an orc? So I saw the Stompa. I was like, gotta be something bigger than a Stompa, and there is. There's like these massive like mega Stompas. They're like gargantuan Stompas that look awesome. Yeah, so speaking of that, I did some more rescuing of some more boys on eBay. I actually found what I thought was a pretty cool buy. I think I got it for like 23 or 24 bucks. I got 10 of the AOS orcs. What are they called? The Iron Hide or Iron Jaws or whatever. So I got 10 of those guys coming in to help augment some of my squads. I think that'll make them look pretty cool. I'll be running them as just regular boys, not like Beast Nagas or anything special. So it's funny you mentioned that. I actually have a box specifically for that. I've been curious what I was gonna do with the box. I have a unopened box of Wargame Atlantic cannon fodder. They're the ones where you can make basically Penal Legion soldiers. So I'm thinking about either doing Digga Boys with them or building a couple of them and running them as like a Imperial Guard kill team, you know, and then using the other one as Digga Boys. I don't know. I was even thinking about putting like goblin heads on them and making them like little runts, but luckily I was able to get some grots, so I'm able to put grots on all the trucks, kind of make it look a little bit more orky. If I could find people, I'd love to play some Gorka Morka, or, I'm not gonna lie, I think just buy the templates for 28mm and do 28mm Gaslands, you know? I think it's actually pretty modular. So with the Imperial Guard kill team, you can take 2 different types of additional support. You can either take like some additional airstrikes or artillery strikes, or you can take like 5 extra operators or something like that. I forgot what the number. I think it's like 4 or 5. So for the Imperial Guard, they can actually have, I think it's like up to like 14 guys on the board. So I thought that'd be kind of cool. And it looks pretty modular, especially RK. The one I found was really modular. If you look at the Chaos Legionaries, that one is super modular, because usually it's like, hey, you have to take a leader and you can take like up to 10 of these types of people. Now I say that, hold on, huge disclaimer, RK. I say that I haven't played a game at Kill Team yet. I've only read the rules, and the biggest thing is I'm not competitive / meta minded, you know, so to me there's a whole bunch of choices and it's super modular. With that being said, there may be only one good way to play each kill team, if that makes sense. Like, I think for my Legionnaires, I could take them in all different types. You know, I could take like multiple heavy weapons or multiple close combat guys or what have you. I'm sure there's a appropriate meta way to take them. Like, I would just take them based off my own lore, what I think's cool as like Red Corsairs, you know, but I don't know. Goonhammer's always really good about, you know, putting the rules for kill team up there. So I'm pretty sure, I said I would love to also run that with us. Yeah, so from what I read, especially for the Imperial Guard one, yeah, that's how it works. That's how it works for the Legionnaires. That's how it works for the Imperial Guard, and kind of same thing for the Orcs. You know, like I can give a couple guys. I can choose to take like a battering ram guy or not, you know, or I can just have another guy with a slugga. Yeah. From what I've seen, my Orcs got choppers. I remember playing it in 7th, and it was really good. It was a lot of fun playing it in 7th. So I do have some stuff. You guys can let me know. I still think it's pretty WYSIWYG, but I did start running out of bits. So some of my Orc rescues, they have, it looks like choppas, but they also have shootas. They have choppas and shootas, you know, but I run them as choppa sluggas. So hoping that's okay. Hopefully no one like loses their mind about that kind of thing. But then again, apparently most people I'm playing with don't even have painted armies, which no shame, but I don't know. Yeah, I'm actually gonna get a commando kill team for the Orcs, and then in my 2,000 point list, I actually have a spot for those same 10 commandos. So, you know, I'll be using them in both, you know, the tabletop game and also for kill team. Yeah, and actually, if you want to run Casterkin, so Krieg, I guess the Krieg are also the Imperial Guard veterans. So you have like Imperial Guard veterans, from what I understand. You have the Aquilians, and you also have the Casterkin. And then you also have Imperial Naval Breachers too. So you have multiple different like Imperial teams you can kind of run. They're very guard-like. Yeah, Bad Rabbit. I don't think you've seen it yet. I'll probably get the kit just for fun, but the ones I'm gonna order from Etsy are actually really cool looking. So, they're the Commando Orks. They're all ninja themed, but think like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3 style. So they're all like they're running around with like throwing stars, commas, daggers. All their shooters are like little Uzis. Their breacher just has a big ass like 500-pound aircraft bomb. The bomb squig is actually just like a little like bombo on mechanical legs. The distraction god is all, he looks a lot like the distraction god from the commando box. He's all like ninja'd out with a grappling hook and stuff. It is super cool. Yeah, like I said, I may or may not do that crusade. I'm gonna talk to the guy. Just let him know like where I'm at realistically. I don't want to be a burden to the group, because I'm not gonna lie, I don't have the time or the I don't have the time or the desire to do TTS for a crusade game. It's the same reason why I don't like playing D&D on a virtual tabletop. I prefer to play in person if possible. So say they were doing a crusade, like I'd like to like play in the store. That's why I'm doing it at my local store. I don't really want to do TTS, and also, I don't have my army ready, so it's kind of like I don't want to be difficult, but I'm stuck between those two worlds. Like, yeah, I want to join the crusade. It hasn't started yet. I was like, but I'm not ready yet, and I don't want to, simulate everything. Don't you dare. No. Don't you wish that evil on me. Pay your tech priest, Nathan. Stop throwing their toasters in the bath and pay your tech priest, and that wouldn't happen. Light some candles all around your computer. Start getting the litany of repair. Soothe and coax the machine spirit. I'll say XCOM Declassified. I mean, that probably has like the least requirements of any game that I can think of. So mine was a Bad Rabbit. I always try to remain positive. I don't want this to turn to like Tiki's rant hour, but I will say rather quickly. I left Warhammer 40k in 8th edition. I didn't really like where the lore was going. I didn't really like the gameplay that much. There's nothing wrong with that. I was just like, I got more into D&D, and I was really enjoying D&D, and I did a lot of D&D 5th edition. Really enjoyed it, right? I saw where D&D 5th edition was going, and I'm like, maybe not. So I jumped over to like Fallout, Wasteland Warfare, and then into Bolt Action Conflict 47. And, I'm playing with the orcs, getting back into Warhammer 40k. It's fun. Hey, what's going on, Squidfist? So with that being said, I noticed one of the changes in D&D is the virtual side. There's nothing wrong with it, like especially if I'm playing like with my family, like with my brothers or their kids or anything like that. Then yeah, playing virtually makes sense because I can't drive to go see them all the time. That's worth it. But when you play with strangers on a virtual tabletop, something changes. It's very hard to maintain the social contract that is tabletop wargaming. On a stream I used to do, we haven't done it in a long time. We used to talk about the social contract and, you know, playing tabletop wargaming and what that meant. It's hard to maintain that type of decorum virtually online. You know what I mean? I enjoy seeing models on a tabletop. There's just something therapeutic about it. You know, like, hey, I built these models and painted them. Hey, you built those models and painted them. You know, like, this is really cool. I just feel like the tabletop, the virtual tabletop, I see why it's useful. Especially if you're like a competitive person, or if you just want to like map hammer some stuff out, be like, hey, a new book dropped, I want to see how good this list is, let me try this list out. I get it, you know, it's literally like it's like a shooting range but for the tabletop, right? But I don't know, it's not somewhere I want to go for an actual competition, actual game. I think that's on me. I think I'm just bringing my own personal baggage into that. I don't think, I think every face-to-face D&D game I had was way better than anything I ever had on virtual tabletop. So, I think I'm just carrying that learned preference with me into a new thing. So, I don't think that's fair. So, let me put that caveat out there. But it is my time, and I think I have the choice, and I would choose preferably. Not something I'd use VTT for. Now, to play hard to find board games that are out of print, yeah, that's awesome. Or to play like Hero Quest with some buddies, yeah, that'd be great. You know, I think TTS is an awesome thing. I'm glad I have it on my Steam account, but I don't think I'd ever use it for Warhammer 40k, Bolt Action, or Conflict 47. Me personally. Nice. Who does Thousand Suns? I always thought Thousand Suns was probably the coolest looking Chaos Army. Hands down, they look so cool. Yeah, Squid, we're trying to get some Ork Boyz done. Yeah, we got one truck done. Hey, what's going on? Hey, I'm glad you swapped by to say hey. I know I keep weird hours, so a lot of people are like, hey, I want to watch your streams, but you do it really at really odd hours. So I appreciate swinging by and saying, hey, we're just working out some works. Thanks, Squidfist. I appreciate it. Yeah, Nathan, I think particularly with Crusade, like when these are your guys, like so when you have a model and it like survives game from game and it gets its battle scars or it gets its battle honors, you know, you really get attached to the units. And I feel like that works really cool for, you know, physical tabletop. Oh, nice. I can't wait to see how that tank camo scheme comes out, man. All right, hey, thanks, brother. Take care. I think that's absolutely awesome, Squig Hunter Sean. So in their back lore, they fought the Necrons and Penal Legions. So yeah, I think Chrome Skulls is actually super cool. Yeah, that sounds absolutely awesome. Yeah, you have 100% free artistic license to do whatever you think, man. I truly want you to have fun with it. I feel like one game I just want to like fuck around and be like, "What's your secondary?" Like, I don't know, I'm making up my own secondary. It's like not for points, but I just want to see how many laps around the board I can make. You know, just keep driving my vehicles around in laps, just shooting at his guys in the middle, just dropping off the boys, just run around and fucking get in fights. Yeah, so I feel like I should have started an escalation league. I feel like that's what I was looking for. You know, as I struggle to get 500 points and then 1,000, stuff like that, so. See, I thought Crusade started like escalation leagues. I thought they started at, you know, you had your 1,000 locked in, but you start at 500 point engagements and you slowly go up. But now these guys want to start, you know, full bore, straight up 1,000 point rocks right out of the gate. I'm like, oof. Yeah, they decided to play one guy who was going to do Necrons, and literally last minute he just went out and got a whole bunch of a full set of Chaos Knights, and I was like, huh, alright, well, guess not fighting Necrons. Shame. Alright, once I finish this Ork Boy, I'm going to jump over to the second group and start painting their orc flesh and their pants. I know, batch painting not the most exciting, but it's a great way to get them done. I know orange kind of takes on the hue of the color underneath. I know it's one of those colors that's real notorious for that, and that's one of the reasons why I'm telling myself also out of laziness. One of the reasons why I like spray paint these guys with Zendari dust. I kind of like the dirty convict style orange that kind of comes out. RK, I see your joke there. That's a good one. Oh man, that's really good. Well done, RK. Very good joke. So with that being said, what would be, for those of you who do play Warhammer 40k, what would be the, and not a tournament, what kind of event would you want to see for Warhammer 40k? For like a one-day event, what would be something you would want to do? Apocalypse? Like if there was a highly social, laid-back style Warhammer 40k event in your area, what would you be excited to see? That is new. RK, I've actually never heard of that. And see, I see why some people don't like that, Bad Rabbit, but I actually really like that bookkeeping. But it makes sense that a lot of people don't like it because, you know, 10th edition list building is so easy. You know, there's less bookkeeping there. It seems like they got rid of a lot of the bookkeeping. So, as a D&D guy, I don't mind the bookkeeping for Crusade. But I think with that, you got to worry about power gamers. You got to worry about munchkins, as we call them in D&D. You know, because some people can like look for the optimal list that they can only get in Crusade. Like, yeah, these models are powerful in regular 40k, but if I combine it with this, and this, I can have this ultimate thing. There's like the one thing in the Crusade game that I'm gonna attempt to play in that I really like is there's no named characters. And it's really cool. So you get to pick your warlord, and what he does, he makes them an aspiring champion. So he changes some of their you tell him what model you want as your warlord, and some lore, and the guy goes in and he creates a custom data sheet just for that model. What's cool is it makes it, you know, more expensive. So like mine was an extra 15 points. He boosted some of the weapons, but what's cool is he took some of the abilities, made them not as quote-unquote powerful offensively, but made it more in themed with my Evil Sun's army. So like the model's really fast, and even during my WoW, when I declare WoW, it's more about making my models go faster than so much like hitting harder or other stuff. So it's a really cool thing. But the reason why I'm excited is because that way you avoid named characters, and what I mean by that is you're not going to run into every game, you're not going to run into Magnus or Agron or Girly Man or any Patriarch or the Lion or anything. There's none of these like huge themed characters in every single army. You're just like, okay, I just want to fight a Space Marine company, you know? Yes, there's your company commander. Yes, there's your chaplain, you know? Okay, cool, that makes sense. Let's go. I feel like the way we're doing our Crusade, or the way we want to do this Crusade, it's more like Warhammer and less like Hero Hammer. Does that make sense? But said that you're not going to run into a Gaoskull or you know, the weird Zog guy who runs all like the super grots. Like there's none of that kind of stuff, which is kind of cool. You're just stuck to like old school. What can you take that can be a you know, a warlord? You know, like even like a little mech, like a mech could be your warlord, you know? But I kind of like your idea. Let's go and try like a whole bunch of big boarding action games. I think it'd be cool to do like a hybrid game where you know, not that anyone plays, but you could have like Battlefield Gothic going on at the same time. You have like boarding actions and kill teams, and then some people are actually playing out like big, like 2,000 point games. You know, that'd be kind of cool, like a combined arms style thing. Yeah, that's the other thing I'm kind of worried about. I'm worried about like super competitive people like coming into the Crusade game just to do like some steel clubbing. Like, ah, shit. Squid Fist, that is interesting. That's actually kind of cool. Yeah, it's actually kind of a cool idea. Square kind of shot into it that way. Do like a week build up of people just like playing Battlefield Gothic games or other games and like having that affect the narrative, and then on that day, that weekend, have a big ass apocalyptic game with some smaller like kill team stuff going over an objective, you know, where it's like they're fighting, and on that objective there could be like a missile silo, you know, and they're just like kind of fighting around the missile silo, but then on like on a separate table you actually have like a kill team, you know, fighting over the missile silo. That would be really fucking cool. Well, yeah, like I said, I may not be able to realistically, I may not be able to do this crusade that I joined. Luckily, it hasn't started yet, so I think I'm just gonna have an honest talk with the guy, just let him know, you know, what I can do, what I can't do, and I just don't want to take up the slot for someone else, you know. But with that being said, if I run my own crusade game, that's something I'd be interested in. Is, you know, kind of like what you're saying, a little bit Bad Rabbit. Also, I want flexibility. I'm like, yeah, you start off with 1,000 points, but depending on what the missions or battles are, you're not always going to bring 1,000 points. You know, like maybe it's only a 500-point battle, maybe it's a boarding action. You know, so you're not going to bring your vehicles. You know, maybe, you know, if they're okay with it, and if they have one, you know, hey, maybe pick up a kill team. Maybe we'll do some kill team missions. You know, they're independent of your 1,000 points. You know, but you can get special, you know, artifacts or resources. You know, depending if you win or not. Yeah, so my goal is to get 500 points painted up and play a couple like learning games, to learn 5th edition. I'm sure they'll make me do secondaries, which is fine. I don't know how to play secondaries anyways, I guess, but... Yeah, and the rules for boarding action, Squid Fist, like the way doors work and stuff like that, it is so cool. But, again, I'm biased. That's what sucked me into Warhammer 40k from when I started Battlefield Gothic. I still remember the app. It was the cover of the magazine just blew me away. It was just regular 28mm models, but they had them, like, staged, I guess, so it looked like the scale looked big, and they had these huge-ass cathedral-style windows and stuff like that, and they were looking out into space, and you could see the other Battlefield Gothic ships. And I was like, oh, boarding action, that's so cool. Yeah, I actually, so that was the first Ork model I bought. It started with one model, right? I saw an Ork model with a Tiki mask and I bought it, and that's what got me into doing Orks. So he's coming in the mail from Etsy, and I'm probably gonna cut off his head and put it on. Actually, I got it today. This is gonna be my main war boss for the army. It's gonna be a Death Killer War Trike. So I'll be putting that Ork Tiki Mask Shaman head on that body on the Death Killer War Trike. See, I kind of liked back when your command posts or your command points were generated by your force organization chart, you know? Because that way, if you just want to take whatever army you wanted, that was cool. That's how you spent your points, but you didn't get any CPs, you know? You didn't get any points to do special stratagems. Versus if you took a force organized legal chart, like you took your HQ and your 2 infantry slots and your fast attack and all that stuff, then you got CP points for each detachment you took. I thought that was a much better way to do CP than you just get one every turn like a... I've been watching a lot of 10K battle reports and it certainly seems like a game. But I don't want to knock it until I try it. I don't know, maybe I'll like it. I'll have fun. I don't think I like the whole secondary thing, but well, we'll try it. I think the other reason I was excited to do Crusade is not having to worry about the terrain, like actually having thematic terrain. You know, to like the scenario you're fighting versus like the standard issue one. Damn. Alright, let's go fix that. Yeah, Bolt Action campaign would be a lot of fun. I'm not gonna lie. That would be pretty good. So the hard thing with that right now, RK, I've been enjoying 3rd edition. 3rd edition, okay. I don't like drip-fed content. Like, I don't mind, like, extra units coming out. And again, it's not a big deal. I worry that I feel like I'm always complaining. Hopefully that's not how it comes off. What I'm saying is, like, with each 3 months, there's like a whole new army book. It's weird to try and play an army because if you make one of those armies, like I said, I'm like, oh, let me try to make an American army. Then the American book drops, and I gotta like reevaluate all my armies. I'm like, all right, that's cool, you know. It's kind of weird to set up a campaign when there's still army books dropping because I know you've seen it where it's like, hey, which rules are we going for here? Which rules do I need to build my army? It can get a little wonky, so. I'm hoping that 3rd edition sticks around for a long time, just like 2nd edition did, where when all the army books drop, you know, at least for all the core armies, then we can start, like, kind of, I think it'll be easier to do campaigns after that. I think bolt action is fun. I truly do enjoy bolt action. I really, really, really do. I think it'll always be a little bit more niche, only because it's very, not just historical, but like I said, it's popular with like guard players, but not a lot of people, I guess. The old, I don't know. I don't know. It's so weird to say because I feel like I'm making these grand, huge statements with no evidence. I don't know. It doesn't seem like maybe like historical or Hollywood style historical wargaming is as popular with the younger generations. But that's something they always say with tabletop wargaming. The older you get, the more you lean more towards historicals, and that's true. Funny you mentioned that, Bad Rabbit. Me, RK, and Irish have been kind of working on that. Trying to set something up for that, actually. Yeah, maybe I should watch some 30k stuff. But there's no orcs in 30k, right? So you know what I do. Yeah, right. We'll see how things are going with that. I know that's something we've been kind of kicking around a lot. I like Ork rocket launchers, they kind of crack me up. Yeah, so I've seen that kit being sold, but I've never taken a look at it before. That's a good point, Sean. So let me fill you guys in on my little conspiracy theory, right? Conspiracy time with Tiki. Alright. So this involves Games Workshop. Let me know what you think. Maybe I'm crazy, right? I only noticed this because I was, I've worked a lot of overtime. I had some stuff saved away. I was in the mood to buy orcs, right? So this is the only reason why I noticed this. I don't think I'm wise or more experienced than anybody else, particularly not with 40k. But I became interested in orcs. I think it was right after to me, it had nothing to do with it, but maybe some people don't agree. But it was right after. Hold on. Well, I'm using contrast paints. Squid Fist. Anyways, so I was interested in orcs I think it was right after the debacle about the Daka regiment, right? How well it was doing. And as I was buying orcs, one thing I noticed from somebody that that's always told me pretty good advice about orcs is one of the best kits was the Ludas, because the Ludas is where you find the Burna Boys. So you got, enough bodies to make either Ludas or Burnas, but you had a whole bunch of extra bits laying over. I'm like, oh, that is awesome. I was like, so I can just take my orc extra bodies, and just make burners out. Oh, that's so cool, because each of the 2018 boys box you get an extra body, because it comes with 11. So, you get 3 boxes, 3 or 4 boxes, and you have enough to build you can use those extra bodies to build a Luda or burner squad. Like, that's super cool, right? You buy one Luda box, you have enough to make, Ludas and burners. So there's a reason I'm going with this. So the Daka rule set, it seems like Warlord games, when that came out, a lot of people bought, Ludas, Flash Gits, and stuff like that. Just like I feel like Games Workshop is kind of phasing out the old boys box for the new one that's like monopose. You get 5 Choppa boys, 5 Shoota boys. It's kind of weird, right? But it seems like they're trying to phase out the old, like, I guess the value boxes, the boxes where you get a lot of good value stuff. So I think they're trying to phase out the old Ludas and Flamebo's box, and the best way to kind of sell off all the stuff they kind of had was by making a super strong detachment that required that. So people ran out there and bought all of them, and then they nerfed them, or they nerfed the detachment, so people went out there and bought a whole bunch of like the extra boxes that were lying around. So a lot of people are like, oh hey, why did they make this so strong and then nerf it? I think it's to control the boxes, the models they have on the market. You can't really find any of their good value boxes, like the old Chaos Marauders or old world zombies. Like a lot of their boxes, if you noticed, are going towards like monopose or very fine detailed monopose, like not very interchangeable, and you're just like, I can build it this one way, that's cool. Sean's like, that's just what they do. So I was sitting there, I was like, oh yeah, I hear Luda box is one of the best values. Like, let me go and they were available, and then they weren't. I was like, what the hell happened to all the, what the hell happened to all the Luda boxes? And then I read about this whole Daka thing, and then everyone knew they were gonna nerf it, and then they nerfed it. I was like, son of a bitch. I was like, I think that's why they did that. And also, same thing. They also, don't forget, I'm pretty sure the Daka thing also made tank hunters. It's really useful too. I don't know all the ins and outs. I don't know the competitive meta. But remember, they released that Daka thing the same time they let people know, like, hey, we're also going to have a new Rekka crew style kill team coming out, which are basically just tank hunters. So people weren't going out there and buying the tank hunter kits, like, oh yeah, I can use those, they're popular on the tabletop right now, and it's going to be a kill team. So people are out there also buying up all the old tank hunter boxes, so that now they can just release this kill team, so that now all the old tank hunter boxes will be gone, and when they drop their kill team, that's the new tank hunter, it's called the Rekka Squad. People can't just buy like a tank hunter box and run it as the kill team. They have to buy the more expensive kill team box. Yeah, I believe that, Sean. Yeah, I'm trying to get a good collection of bits stuff going Squid, but Squid Fist, but I keep using them. Like I said, I literally cannibalized a lot of, because I thought I'd get extra parts from an Ork truck, but it was like I built by the instructions, so it's probably my fault. But there wasn't a lot left over, so I literally had to cannibalize. Like, I took this off the Ork truck. I took this off the Ork truck. I took the boarding ladder, this front part, this little chain, hook chain to put on this side gun. So it's like a grappling gun. I had to kit bash a shit ton off the other truck, or cannibalize it. I gotta put on that. It reminded me of, being down range and building Frankenstein Humvees. See a Humvee coming out like OD green with a tan door, and like a woodland camo hood. Just because they're cannibalizing and trying to get them to work. Yeah, so far the best thing I found is that and very specific about the year, the 2018 Boys box. That thing is phenomenal because you get, 10 Choppa Slugga arms, 10 Shoota arms, you get 11 bodies, it's such a great value. So I think I had this conversation, I think it's like 2 streams ago. Particularly in my area, yeah, woodland cam, the old school BDU style woodland camo is great, particularly in these like forest, in these like semi-tropical forests we have here. The only downside to the woodland camo, the only negative to it, is the black. Black's not a naturally occurring color in nature, so it's a good camo. It's a good universal camo for a lot of different things. It's the only downside to it. It's expensive, but for my area, I prefer Mandrake. You can get it, Cryptek Mandrake. No, Sean, by all means, no, keep all the bits as part of your payment, please. Yeah, just in the boys, you can keep all the extra bits. I didn't plan on getting any of them. I mean, like, I love tiger stripes. I don't know. Again, too much black. So I used, just like everybody else, I made fun of the Air Force uniform when it changed in 07 to the digital tiger stripes when like ACU pattern with that weird like green blue thing, and it's weird. Don't get me wrong, but then one day I saw like a I saw a declassified photo from an aerial asset on like what troops look like. And it was full picture and everything, and I have to admit, like the actual digital tiger stripe, of all things, on a flightline or in rubble, it actually works really well, surprisingly. Good news, everyone! Well, so it's one of those funny things where BDU actually does work good. So in sparse jungle areas, like when you're mixing, not really like oasis, but in between desert and like small wooded areas, BDU actually does still work really well. So where BDU really shined, and not a lot of people talk about this, the classic woodland BDU shines really well. Not just shines, but it does really well at night. It's decent during the day, and it's absolutely hysterical at night. Yes, Evolution, I see your joke. I laughed. I don't know why I said hysterical. I'm sorry. It's really, really useful at night. And I'm glad your thing's working, Nathan. I think it's coming up on time that I need to replace my laptop. I've been working with the same laptop since 2018, I want to say. Yeah, I always thought that was weird too. I was like, why wouldn't they just give them like a... If you're gonna give them digital camo, why not make it gray? You know? Or just give them like gray coveralls, but I don't know. The only uniform I was issued, besides the OCPs in Afghanistan, the only uniform I was ever issued that made sense in the Air Force, and it was a really good idea, is before Dagger teams were a real thing. Yes, it's a real thing. You can look it up there. They've gotten way more hardcore than what they used to be. Like, people take that shit way too serious. Back in the day, it was just like a duty you got assigned. You know, you had to have training for it, but not like crazy special training with tabs and stupid shit. But anyways, before Dagger was an official thing, there were teams for aircraft that went down, right? So what we wore, very similar to the Phoenix Ravens, but we weren't Phoenix Ravens, is we were just issued flight suits. Not like the super nice ones, but they were flame retardant, which was nice. But you got issued 2 green flight suits and 2 tan flight suits. Alright, hey, take it easy, Bad Rabbit. But it was a super useful thing. I'm like, oh yeah, this is perfect. I have green and tan, and they're flame retardant. Like, what a great idea. We also got issued flight suits when we did EST too, just because it's easier to put on the uniform and go. It's like, hey, are you in a predominantly green environment? Yes, here's green. Are you in a predominantly tan environment? Yes, here's tan. It works. Yes, no, you are correct. I still have my pair. They're absolutely the best glove. Oh, the green Nomex flight gloves are absolutely the best. Yeah, I was involved in 2 Humvee fires. Like, I cannot tell you enough how nice it is to have, you know, flame retardant clothing and how important that is. It's the same reason why, like, not a lot of people wore, or they weren't supposed to, but not a lot of people wore, like, Under Armour, you know, or you know, we had, like, strict rules about everything needed to be cotton so it would burn off of you and not melt. You know, you didn't want spandex underwear regardless of what your gender is, because you didn't want, you know, that stuff melting onto your sensitive parts. Ooh, that list sounds cool, okay? Yeah, you're only into that once. That's irreversible damage. Alright, we're getting some orcs painted. I'm liking it. So we talk a lot about Bolt Action, Comic 47, and now a little bit about Warhammer 40k. What are some other tabletop games that you guys play? Anyone have any like weird, kind of like hipstery weird ones out there? Like anybody playing that weird one from Morgan Atlantic with like the little weird nose people? What's it called? Like Quaint or something like that? Can't think of the name of it. There's like that weird little... Like I said, I still do Gaslands. I'd love to do Zone Alpha. I've only done a few games of it. I don't play it much. But... Fear of the Dark. Nice. Quar. Thank you. That's what it is. Quar. Hey, what's going on, Mike? Big buff ladies indeed. Alright, I think I got a couple more orcs in me, and then I think I probably will call it a night. I guess I'm not going until 6. I may call it a little bit early. Just kind of paint a couple more orcs and kind of hit the sack myself to do work. But yeah, I was in a rush to get all these guys painted. The more I think about it, I don't think I'll be able to meet the deadline. So I think I'd rather like slow down and enjoy painting them. Damn. You know what? No, I'm glad I traded off my army because they went to a good home. I don't think I'd ever have time to do like a full rank and flank style game. as interested as I would be in it. Sean, I sent them to Mad Larkin, actually. I sent him my roughly 1,000 points that I had built of Empire, but they were modeled off sailors, so it was kind of like a it wasn't Sartosa Pirates because that's not a faction. It was more like Sartosa Privateers. So we feel reviewed. So it was kind of cool. Like the spearmen were all like whalers, you know, so they all had like, you know, whaling style spears. The Free Company militia, they were all just like random ass sailors. They all had like knives and billy clubs and all sorts of hilarious stuff. The handgunners were actually free, what do you call them? Free Seraphim riflemen, so they were lizardmen with muskets. They were my Marines. You know, 'cause I figured they could swim to shore pretty easy. And they'd be terrible, and they'd be like terrifying in close combat. The archers were just like foragers. You just like go ashore to look like for trees for repair and stuff like that, and find game and stuff like that. So they're all like hunters, stuff like that. But they're all like modeled off like ship crew. It was pretty cool. And then I just sent him a few like unopened boxes that I had. Like I had a couple more boxes of crewmen from, because I was using the crewmen from Frostgrave, from yeah, it's called Frostgrave. And then I also had some Working Atlantic Conquistador boxes. Yep, you're right. Yeah, that's the subfaction of it. Yeah, that's where you can get like the cool snake men and the tribals and a bunch of other cool stuff. So that's the thing, like I like ship battles, but I think when it comes to like ground combat for tabletop wargames, I think I like it here at like the company level, so like bolt action or like Warhammer 40k, smaller Warhammer 40k, maybe not the huge 2000 things. But I think I also like small crunchy stuff. Like I said, I always wanted to play Necromunda, so I'm gonna try a kill team. Or like, I actually played the Cyberpunk tabletop game. That was actually a lot of fun. Oh, I didn't know they were the same size as the Flame of War ones. That's really cool. Yeah, that would be cool if that's what the Imperial Japanese do for like their hybrid half monster, half soldiers, is make like snakemen. That'd be be really cool. Few Tiki tanks, nice. Yeah, and I really appreciate how big orcs were until I built them and started painting them. You know, compared to like little 28mm Japanese riflemen, I'm like, ooh, man, these guys are take a little bit longer to paint. There's more surface area. All the gubbins. Alright, I think I got maybe about 1 or 2 more orcs in, then I think I may actually call it a night. I was amazed at how small 40K. I always thought 40K vehicles were a lot bigger. When I built that, I was like, oh, this thing's super small. I thought it was a lot bigger. I feel like Warhammer 40K vehicles aren't the right scale, you know? So what's y'all's favorite, I guess favorite tank? It may or may not have rules and bolt action. That's fine. But as far as like World War II style, what's everyone's favorite tank? Like what if you could only get like one tank model kit, or if you got like a prize, it was like a free prize to build that one tank kit, which one would you build? Yeah, Grim Tim, same thing happens to me with my Type 92. A lot of people are like, that's too small. I'm like, no, I promise you it's to scale. They're like, that could fit on the back of my tank. I was like, yes, and it did. There's a picture of it. Type 92 tankette. There's a reason why it was used as like a reconnaissance vehicle. It's extremely small. Ooh, Tiger 2. Ooh, a 333. Muy Italiano. Tiger 2 is quite popular. Doom Turtle, nice. The Chaffee. Oh man, not enough people give love to the Chaffee. I think it's because it's a late war tank, you know? She kind of rolled in later in the war, but yeah, I have a fondness for light tanks. I definitely like the Chaffee. I actually like some of the World War II Soviet tanks. They're BT series. They're fast tanks. They were actually pretty cool. You know, that's an interesting correlation. I wonder how many people can be tied. I wonder how many people came into bolt action from, you know, World of Tanks, War Thunder, and that whole genre thing. It's actually kind of an interesting Venn diagram. Yeah, something is to be said. She's a big girl. That's something. I had fun playing War Thunder a little bit here and there, but like I said, once I got into Enlisted, I never went back to War Thunder because it was just what I wanted. I was like, oh yeah, infantry focused, but with the vehicle and aircraft, you know, the same type of accuracy of War Thunder. That's kind of cool. Yeah, Evolution, you'll see that in Enlisted too. Especially when I try and play late at night, they'll merge servers. So like I'm trying to play like battle level 2 or 3 Imperial Japanese. Not that I'm seal clubbing, I just like early war stuff, you know? And it'll pair me with like late war Americans. So I'll be sitting there getting, you know, rocketed by a P-38J, you know, and we barely even have Val's and Zeke's. I always thought the secret was just cosmetics, you know. Make everything, if you're gonna have a free-to-play game, make everything free-to-play. The only thing you pay for is cosmetics. Then at worst, you have people using cosmetics for tactical advantages, you know, like all black, you know, like all blacked out style ninja characters for like hiding in the shadows for Call of Duty, or you know, buying a bunch of shrubberies and bushes to put on your tank and stuff like that. But that's such a small thing, you know. But I do play and listen, and I do play Dark Tide, so if you're ever on late at night, you know, you never know, you could actually be playing with me. I use obviously a different name, not Tiki the Hut, so you never know. I do still like Dark Tide. I know some people don't, and understandable why. But as someone who played a shit ton of Left 4 Dead and Left 4 Dead 2 when it first came out, I thoroughly enjoyed Dark Tide. I think this is the first ever game I used like official mods on, not counting like StarCraft or Warcraft back in the day, but I think Left 4 Dead was the first game I really modded, especially in Steam. Yeah, I need to get more Hago tanks. Arcade, I think you're right. I need to get a whole platoon of Hagos. It'd be kind of cool. Lord knows I have enough Chihas. Jesus, I can't believe I finally built and painted all those. Yeah, it's nice to take a little bit of a break from all that. Like painting all that style of camouflage and all those models. It's nice to have a little refresher, you know, paint something red. Yeah, I'm a fan with you guys with the Arcane Crimson Tim. I actually do like the kind of light tanks. Like I said, I'm a huge fan of light tanks. I don't know what it is about them that I really like. I just always like light tanks and take heads. I always think they're really cool looking. So, yep. Like I said, I knew I'd end up playing as either the Imperial Japanese or the Italians. Surprisingly, Squidfish, you really haven't missed that much. Let me think. 15 years. In the last 15 years. No, Dark Age Origins is already out. So, yeah, New Vegas and on. So, yeah, you have New Vegas. Maybe Space Engineers, Arma 3, the Mad Max game, this little one a lot of people talking about. Oh, of course, Spec Ops: The Line, absolute classic banger. Try the stuff that are like actual, like really good, like you should play instead of just like gimmick. There's plenty of great gimmicky games out there, but oh yeah, hands down. Yeah, no contest on that. Yeah, New Vegas wins. But to be fair, New Vegas had the assets and the engine of Fallout 3, like the ease of playability in the first-person immersion, which is, let's be fair, first-person immersion is actually really cool. But it also had a lot of the writers and a lot of the OGs from from Fallout 1 and 2. So there's that. Oh, speaking of games, Far Cry 3 is another good one. Without getting too much into like the gaming controversy, it's like that new Dragon Age game, and even Inquisition, you know, they don't hold up to Dragon Age Origins, not due to nostalgia goggles, but it's the writing. It's the writing. The same people who made Dragon Age Origins, very few, if any, were still there when they made Inquisitions, much less whatever that newest one's called. That doesn't even have the same play style. It looks like it plays like a Kratos God of War style game. Yes, Crimson. That is on the list of historically good games that you should play. And it's not just for the plot twist everybody talks about. You can, if you haven't played it yet, you can always just look at what the plot twist is. But go back and play the game after you finish it. And it's one of those games where you immediately reboot it all the way back to the beginning. And the stuff you catch the second time around will blow your minds. That is on my top 10 all-time greatest video games. In my humble opinion, you know, I'm just a nobody, but Spec Ops: The Line is on there. That's a damn good game. I haven't played Armored Core 5. I think I played Armored Core 3, maybe? I don't think I ever played 5. And obviously I'm biased. I'm sitting here painting my, you know, Evil Sons Cult of Speed themed orcs, but if you guys never played Mad Max, it came out, I think it came out at the same time some of their big ass game dropped, so it got buried. But if you don't mind Batman Asylum style combat and like big open world like Assassin's Creed, it is a good game. It is a really, really good game that got overlooked. So if you see it for sale and you've never played it and you have plenty of time to kill, try Mad Max. That is, whoever did the sound effects for that game. First of all, the visuals for Mad Max are good, but the sound effects, especially for the fight, oh my god, the fights sound so crunchy and brutal. Yeah, I stopped playing Halo at Reach. Halo 1, 2, and 3 were phenomenal. 3 ODST was great, Reach was great, and then I never even tried 4. Mountain Blade. Yeah, Mountain Blade Bannerlord. That is another good one. Wait, which one am I thinking of? Is that the one? Is that the newest one? I like the second one. Not the first Mountain Blade, but the second one. I think it was Warband. I don't think I played Bannerlord yet, if that's the third one. I played a lot of the second one. There's a really good spin-off of the second Mountain Blade. Someone used it to make a game. I played it a lot on my PC when I was deployed, just because I didn't have internet access, you know, so you had to like download smaller games and just play them, you know. So one of the games I played was called Blood and Gold Caribbean, and so it was a pirate. It was basically a pirate spin-off of Mountain Blade. It was really damn good. It played like the old Sea Dog style games. Another good game, so surprisingly a lot of people slept on. So Bomber Crew was good, right? Don't get me wrong. For what it was, Bomber Crew is a great game. I really enjoy it, right? Bomber Crew is a lot of fun, but Space Crew, man, if you're a Star Trek or like Stargate fan, I cannot highly recommend Space Crew enough. Surprising that game has a lot of depth to it, and a lot of different types of missions you can undertake. It is a lot of fun. If you've never given Space Crew a shot, that's another game I'd recommend. Not like top 10 games ever, but a fun little time waster. Well, I think especially the first Halo just struck such a good chord of, yeah, you're a badass character like a Doom Marine kind of. You know, you have effective weapons, but you're fighting an asymmetrical war on a foreign planet against a much more technologically superior enemy. It just had a really good overall vibe and fit to it. And what I love, you guys may not remember this, but I used to watch it on my demo disc that came in my Xbox magazine all the time when I was younger. But the first sneak peek to what Halo 2 was supposed to look like, if you guys never saw that, when he lands down there and they're doing the fight for New Mombasa, oh man. It was really cool. Like you had to like walk through like the medic tent, everyone's like screaming in pain, and then you know you finally get a vehicle and you gotta like chase down all this other stuff. Man, that was really cool. Oh yeah, back reading the game inserts. So much good information. I got you one. So I got I think I was a kid, so for Christmas one year, what I wanted, and I got, which was nice, you know. I'm trying to be too much of a spoiled brat, but for Christmas one year, I got really into police stuff. So what I wanted was, that's how old I was. There's this cool little like police playset. You know, it wasn't like a big brand name. It was like a smaller one, like not a big deal, not Legos or anything. It was just like a small little police playset. And then Rainbow Six had just came out for the N64. And I'll never forget having to open one present on Christmas morning and then drive all the way to go see my family on the other side of Texas. You know, so I remember sitting in the car and reading that instruction book, the booklet to the N64 version of Rainbow Six, and just sitting there and just reading it and just having my mind blown. I'm like, there's different types of armor, different types of gear. Like, oh man, this is. You know, up until then, your most accurate shooter was GoldenEye, you know, where you could dual wield, you know, grenade launchers and stuff like that, you know, or dual wield bazookas and drive a tank, you know, so this is like actual realism to a kid with an N64. I remember hearing about that, the yellow warthog, in Halo 2, you had to like shoot the billboard or something like that with all the weapons or something like that. I don't think I've ever seen it done. Dark Fate Evolution, is that the one that's more of an RTS, or is that still like the third-person action or first-person shooter one? I think I remember hearing someone saying one of those games was like surprisingly really good. But the reason why I bring that up, speaking of Gorka Morka style orc stuff, and I was talking about the Mad Max game. If you like the Bomber Crew and Space Crew, I actually played the demo of their new game coming out, Badlands. I think it's called like Badlands Crew or something like that. It is really awesome. Basically, you get a war rig, and it mixes every post-apocalyptic genre you can think of, everything from Mad Max, Fallout, Death Race, anything you can think of, and you just slowly build up this giant, war rig, 18-wheeler as you drive all around doing these missions. It's actually pretty cool. Yeah, Squidfish, you might agree or disagree with this, and it made me think about. I was watching a video about, and I was playing some old Dawn of War too. Sorry, some old Dawn of War as well. You know, not Dawn of War 2. But it's amazing how good storytelling can be done with just like some animated frames and just decent voice acting. I feel like video game companies are spending so much money on these like pre-rendered cutscenes and all this like fancy stuff. I'm like, just portraits, like animated portraits, or just portraits and just good, well-written dialogue with quality voice actors. It does so much more than cutscenes sometimes. Like, you only need like a couple of cutscenes in a game, I feel, anyways. You know, like go back to like StarCraft and stuff like that. Such good stories, good storytelling. Yeah, and that's another thing too. I can appreciate good graphics in a game. Like I was talking about how Mad Max has good graphics, like really good graphics. but it's not a make or break for me, you know. And I think it's not a make or break for a lot of people because look how popular Minecraft has been in the last like decade, you know. I think gameplay and story will always trump just good graphics, you know. Graphics can be good, but what I think it is I think graphics is something that can appeal to everybody, not just video gamers. Like if you show someone a video game and you don't tell them the story and they've never seen like gameplay before, they're not like a big video gamer, they'll attach the graphics because they can see graphics, they can understand like, hey, this game looks really good, you know. So it seems like when you're trying to pitch a game to people who aren't gamers, you know, like maybe a committee in charge of marketing or stuff like that, they're going to want to lean on graphics. That's something that they can see and instantly attach value to, like, oh, these graphics look good, therefore this must be a good game, you know. Yeah, Squidfist, exactly. It's like eating a handful of pepper. Like, you could have a car racing game that has amazing graphics but shit handling and no one will play it. You know, you could also find a game that has a balance of decent graphics, you know, great handling and cool story like Need for Speed Underground and shit like that, and people will have a cult following of that thing. Yeah, I don't have the rules in front of me, but I don't have the new rulebook, Evolution, but if you're talking about sorry, the core rules, yeah. So in a rifle platoon, you can take one bazooka squad. Oh, you know what? Thanks for bringing that up, Mike. That goes on my top 10 video games of all times. Mercenaries. The second one wasn't bad, but nowhere near does it compare to the first one. The first Mercenaries game. Oof. Damn, was that a good game. Pandemic was a great studio. They put out a lot of great stuff. Yeah, same thing. The EA Battlefronts, they put too much money in the graphics. The games are beautiful, don't get me wrong. So much money in the graphics, and then they had to try and make it up on the far side with the loot boxes. Oh yeah, yeah, I remember. 2 wasn't bad. I remember when 2 dropped with the big space battles. We did a huge LAN party for it. Oh man, that was so much fun. The big space battles of 2 were great. But yeah, the first one, man, no one had seen anything like that. That just blew everybody's mind. I think I liked fighting in the Cloud City the best. There's not like a grenade going off and blowing people off the Cloud City. Yeah, evolution, that's one thing that gets me is, you know, I'll build models, like I'll order models, I'll build them, and then new rules come out and they make, so I don't mind new types of models, I just don't like models becoming obsolete. I'm just like, now I gotta build around it, you know? I understand why, it's just never a good feeling. Man, I hadn't thought about Battlefield in a long ass time. Yeah, so I was kind of toying around with that idea of make it to where, you know, for my event, you don't have to take a rifle platoon. You can actually start with a recon platoon, but I don't have enough time to like play balance it and figure out how well it's gonna work. Yeah, so a lot of modern games, they just, and again, it's just my opinion, they don't have the same kind of staying power that some of the classics did. Because back in the day, the classics, you know, they put out a game and that's it. And they put out additional content, that's fine, but there are no patches, there are no reworks. It's the same thing in the tabletop game. Nothing gets nerfed, nothing gets legends, nothing gets obsolete. You know, a game is what a game is, you know? Oh yeah, speaking of top 10 games of all times, but this is well around before 2010. But Command & Conquer Generals, they will never make that game again, sadly. That was like a Team America World Police. You know, it was a product of its times that'll never be able to be made again. Well, like I said, I play a lot of Enlisted, which is pretty new. That's free to play, but definitely pay to win. You'll see a lot of premium squads out there, and it can get annoying. But I also do play a lot of Dark Tide. I thoroughly enjoy Dark Tide. I like the music. It's one of the few games where I actually like turn the music up all the way. I like the music. I like the ambiance. I like just like looking around and looking at stuff. I like the gameplay because I play a lot of Left 4 Dead back in the day. Alright, I think this may be where we'll call it for tonight. I think tomorrow, I'm not sure. I think tomorrow we may pick back up doing some bolt action stuff, and I may want to continue some orcs. I don't know. Maybe tomorrow we'll see if we can fully paint this guy, the second war truck. Or second truck, I guess, not war truck. So this one's kind of fun. So I ripped one of the boarding ladders off, and instead I put some grots. So you have a grot hanging out the side with a rifle. You have another grot hanging out back there with this pistol. I took the back part off so I could put it on the other truck, and also makes it easier to put a model back here to signify who's in here. You got your wrecking ball, you know, big shooter, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, so you know what, I think we may actually end up just painting this truck next stream. I think that'd actually be a lot of fun. Double orc weekend, you know. Yeah, Evolution, what is that? I hear that too. I hear the armored cars are so hard to build. Like the kits, especially like some of the German ones too. I'm just like, man, what is with that? You have to let us know which one that is. Yeah, so I appreciate you guys letting me kind of like kidnap our usual bolt action Conflict 47 stream to let me paint some orcs. You know, this palette cleanse has been really nice. I don't think I'll be doing the Crusades. So I'm going to reach out to the guy, talk to him, you know, kind of figure out what's going on. I think I'm just going to get into 40k a little bit slower. You know, I think I'm going to get my 500 points of orcs, play from there, and kind of go up that way and just play a lot of casual games. You know, so if you're in the Tampa area, I like to play around Armada, or, you know, if you're in the Florida area, I like to go up to Warpfire. I think I'm probably going to head up there Monday. Just picking up some bits and stuff like that, but I won't be doing any 40k tournaments, but definitely some 40k events, maybe some Armageddon stuff, you know. Like I said, I was an old 40k guy, you know. I did Imperial Guards like that. It's fun. I like orcs. I said these guys are fun to build, fun to paint. I like the idea. I like the lore, and I have my, you know, I have some old codexes. Oh, it's all the way over there. Hold on. Yeah, so I have I think like the older 3rd edition codex. I have the 4th, 5th, and I think 6th edition codex. I think it's all in one. And I have the 10th edition codex. So I have a pretty good amount. I'm just trying to find some for a decent price. I'm trying to find a 4th edition rulebook so I can actually play some 4th edition 40k. Yeah, Evolution. I have a Puma that I just never built because I was worried about how difficult it'd be. Yeah, Squidfist. I said next time I'm in Hawaii. I was there a couple of years ago, but next time I'm there, I'll definitely hit you up, 100%. But no, it's one of the things I like a lot of different tabletop games. Like I said, never mind, that has my name and address on it. I don't want to show that, but so I got plenty of like Fallout, Wasteland Warfare stuff. Like I like a lot of different types of tabletop games, and I like palette cleansers, but I think it's important just to have fun. Like I don't want to like force myself to build and paint models if I don't feel like doing something. I'm like, no, let me not do that. Let me take a break and find something that I find enjoyable in painting. And I was just reading lore about orcs. I'm like, man, orcs seem fun. You know, I was reading about like orc players, how they're always fun. I was like, I like to think I'm a fun guy. You know, I was like, maybe I'd be a good orc player. And I saw that one Tiki model orc. I was like, let me buy that. And then I was just down the rabbit hole. Exactly. Yeah, can't reveal the Tiki Cove. But a lot new information coming down about Clash of the Caribbean. I appreciate all you guys who have bought stuff. You know, you can see the account right there. That'll go towards, you know, prize support for the event and stuff like that. You know, hopefully in the future years we can actually get it to be bigger. So this year it's only gonna be 6 of us. That's just playing the bolt action. Anyone's free to come. It's going to be October 15th through 17th, sailing on the Margaritaville at Sea Paradise, going from Palm Beach, Port of Palm Beach to Nassau, Bahamas. It's a 2-day cruise. Bottom line up front, I think it costs about grand total, probably about $280 to $300 if you're by yourself in an interior room. That's how much it costs, and that covers all your food and non-alcoholic drink on the ship. You know, so if you're in Florida, it's a good deal, or if you're driving distance, it's a pretty good deal. Flying, that adds a whole other thing to it. It may or may not be worth it. Totally understand. But in the future, hopefully we can kind of make it a bigger deal. This year, it was more economical for me to upgrade to a suite that has like a pretty big living room, and I can host my Conflict 47 games in there because it actually has balcony and stuff like that. So it's kind of cool versus renting the conference room. There's a conference room on the ship, but the downside to the conference room is exactly that. It's a conference room. It doesn't have any windows, you know, so you're just like, ugh, you know? Like, hey, come on a cruise ship to play bolt action in a room that looks just like a conference room in any other hotel that has no windows. Kind of a hard sell, you know? So that's why I'm trying to, like, I'll be running the actual event. How much is the drinks package? So the way they do the drink package is you buy them. Because it's a 2-day cruise, you buy them, I think, in groups of 10. And I think they have a regular one where you get like 10 drinks. And then they have like a premium one if you want like top shelf liquor. So I think it's like $100. I think it was like right around $100 for 10 drinks, or like $108 for 10 drinks. So actually not that bad. I mean, about $10 drink is what I call like your resort level pricing. You know, any resort you go to, it costs about $10 for a drink. So I think it's a little bit cheaper if you get it before you get on, and once you get to the terminal, you go through security check, and they do all your passport and stuff like that. They actually have a whole bunch of people there ready to sell you drink packages and ready to sell you shore excursions. So that's the gimmick of the cruise. They'll let you know ahead of time. It's a very affordable cruise ticket, but they try and upsell you on, hey, do you want to go to the steakhouse instead of the regular chow hall? Do you want, you know, premium drinks? Do you want, you know, this shore excursion to go snorkeling with dolphins or some shit? So, you know, spend whatever money you want. You know what your finances can handle. But if you just stay on the ship and just do, you know, the regular ticket, it's not bad. That's why my wife and I sailed on it before we ever came up with the idea. That way we wouldn't be recommending a bad ship. I'd been on the ship, I had been in the rooms, I had fun, I thought it was decently nice. It may not be up to some other people's standards. You could watch a lot of YouTube videos. Some people are kind of normal about it. Some people are like, oh, this is terrible compared to other cruise ships. Like, yeah, well, you know, also the price is a lot less. So I enjoyed it. I think it's kind of a fun thing to do, some bolt action. The reason why I'm doing that is because that way it's free, and it's in addition to you being on the cruise ship. So you still have all the advantages of being on the cruise ship. There's the shows at night, there's the sail away party, there's the hot tub, the pools, all the drinking and having fun. There's also a bolt action game too, you know, so that way you're getting the most out of your ticket. Yeah, I said I'm gonna try and do it every year. It may bounce like every other year. I'm not sure, but you know, if it goes off successfully, if it gets popularity, who knows, man? It could become a fun little destination event for bolt action. Who knows? But fun things to think about. So yeah, go ahead and look up the Margaritaville at Sea Paradise. Even if you're not going to go this year, just kind of take a look at it, kind of see what we're doing. We'll be playing in the library. It'll be small little 500-point games. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And it embraces kind of the whole Tiki vibe of just relaxing, having a good time, making it a social event. Drinks if you're able to do that, or if you want to do that. No pressure. You know, there's no dress code really on the ship. You have to be dressed, obviously, but you can go to the nice chow hall for dinner and like shorts and a Hawaiian shirt, like no one cares. It's a very relaxed environment, and not to nerd out too much, it's actually a super cool ship. Very fast Italian made, much more like a small ocean liner than a cruise ship, and it functions more like a fast ferry than like a floating resort. So super cool information. I thought it was cool. I finally nailed down, I put in my reservation, so the dates are officially nailed down. Clash of the Caribbean 2025 is going to be October 15th or October 17th, 2025. So that's the big news. I want to share it with you guys. For those guys who join tomorrow, we're going to be working on the Ork truck so we can get that painted. For those of you guys who are going to sleep, I hope you sleep well. Hope you get that good REM sleep and truly relax. Hope you don't have any back pain. You're truly able to drift off, no nightmares or night terrors. For those of you headed to work, man, I hope you have a great day at work. I hope the printer never runs out of toner ink, and I hope your hand doesn't get stuck in the vending machine. And as always, I hope you guys stay safe, stay hydrated, and don't forget to relax today, because you're on Tiki time.
Shipwrecked soldiers on wooden sand, type of A rifles in hand, hula gals with summer smiles, no war drums, just beach for miles. Ghost park by Tiki lights, shadows dance in tropic nights, sand beneath where boots once stood, paradise ain't so misunderstood. Lost in waves and hula tunes, tiki drinks and months of moons, forgot the fight in distant lands, just surf and play with tired hands. Bunkers built from palm and hope, coconuts and crude soap, imperial dreams, fade and sun, warriors turn beach bums. Shine to ocean gods we raise, praying for forgotten days, sake in the campfire glow, life's a surfboard, ebb and flow. Lost in waves and hula tunes, tiki drinks and months of moons, forgot the fight in distant lands, just surf and play with tired hands.